I'd like to call this meeting the Alexander County Board of Commissioners into session this 11th day of October 2021. At this time, our invocation will be given by Vice Chairman Ronnie Reese. Our Pledge of Allegiance will be given by the Young Marine Corporal Vince Sotheron from Mecklenburg County Youth Marine Corps. Please rise.
I'll pray. Father, we come to you tonight, and Lord, thank you for this day, and we pray that you direct our thoughts and attitudes, give us wisdom as decisions are made here tonight. Pray, thank you for Alexander County, Lord, for the special place that it is and the people that are in it. Pray for all our employees, all our EMS, all of those that are protecting us each day, Sheriff's Department, Fire Department, and Highway Patrol. Lord, keep them safe, protect them as they go day by day. Help us as we go through this meeting. All these things we'll ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Young man, if you'd like, come up to the podium, please, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. We have a special recognition tonight. We're going to recognize one of our former county commissioners, Mr. Ryan Mayberry. Ryan, if you'd come forward up here and stand at the podium, I'll tell a little bit about you, if you don't mind, sir. Ryan was first elected to the Alexander County Board of Commissioners in November of 2008. He was reelected in 2012 and again in 2016, serving a total of 12 years. While on the board, he served 3 years as chairman, 2012, 2016, and 2020, and 4 years as vice chairman, 2010, 2011, 2014, and 2015. He was involved in many projects during those 12 years, so I'll mention a few of those. He's involved in the new law enforcement and detention center. He's involved in Rocky Face Park, both phase 1 and phase 2. He's involved in the Shell Building and Industrial Park, the sewer projects in Hidnight, the Industrial Park, Bethlehem, and Stony Point Elementary School. Water projects in Hidnight, Vashti, Bethlehem, and Ellendale. CVCC and the Alexander Applied Technology Center across the street. He's involved in the countywide ABC referendum, broadband feasibility study, and the pilot program, the Alexander Services Center, and consolidation of the DSS, that's the Department of Social Services, Senior Center, and the Health Department. I had the honor of serving with Commissioner Mayberry for several years, and it was a pleasure to work with him. And the entire time I worked with Ryan, he only had one thing that was on his mind, and that was doing things that was better for Alexander County and this community to make it a better community. He worked hard, he studied hard, and he worked on the things that needed to happen in this county to make it a better community. And he has with him tonight his wife and his children, and his dad and mom are here, you know, and Ryan, I'd like to present this to you on behalf of the Alexander County Board of County Commissioners and also the citizens of this county. And it says here, the Alexander County Board of Commissioners hereby presents this key to the county upon Ryan Mayberry in recognition and appreciation of your dedicated service as an Alexander County Commissioner from 2008 to 2020, presented this 11th day of October, 2021. Ryan, we appreciate your service, appreciate what you've done. I know it's a sacrifice to be away from your family, and everybody's growing up and you're off at a meeting somewhere, but I appreciate what you've done in your service. And if there's anything you'd like to say, be welcome to listen to you at this time.
I will say a few words. Commissioners and county manager, county clerk, I appreciate it, citizens. What Larry said, It is a lot of work, and I appreciate you guys continuing that. People don't realize, how much time it actually takes to do this job. It's not just one meeting a month. It's phone calls, it's studying, it's multiple meetings. It's a lot of things. And I want to thank my family first, my wife Tracy, my daughter Caroline, and my son Connor. Your family is the ones that really have to sacrifice because you're away from them. You spend time at being a county commissioner instead of being at home and being part of your family. And it is a sacrifice, and thank you guys for doing it. I'd also like to thank all the county employees because the jobs that we do, we couldn't do any of it if we didn't have the county employees working with us and behind the scenes and making things happen. So thank you guys. I want to thank all the commissioners present and past that I served with. We, accomplished a lot of things, and we've served with some great people, and I appreciate all the hard work that everybody did. And again, I want to thank the county manager and county clerk. We had a great working relationship, and I appreciate all that you guys have done. Like to thank the other elected officials that I worked with over the years. We had a lot of great people that worked hard for the people of this county and try to make things great and move things forward. I'd like to thank especially the citizens of Alexander County because, the people are the ones that set the agenda for these guys that sit behind this desk up here. And thank you very much. So, thank you all. I appreciate it. It was a great time. It was a lot of work, but I enjoyed every minute of it. So thank you very much.
Right. Get your family to come up and have a picture made with you. Okay. Goodness, she has grown.
You can tell it's a Mayberry.
Look at her.
Right here on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 more. 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. And guys, I wish we could stay, but we've got homework and got to get one into bed, so. Thank you.
Thank you
Have
all.
a great night.
Have a good night. Thank you all for being here.
We understand.
Just because you can.
Just because you can. Goodness. I want to say one thing. Ryan's daughter's here, and I remember he first ran as a county commissioner. She is just a little tot. I mean, just a small young lady, and now she's grown up, and I'm telling you, it's good to see all of you. It really is. Absolutely. Have a beautiful evening. Gentlemen, you have your agenda before you there. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as is.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as stated.
Second.
A motion's been made, second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise. Thank you very much. One other item of business before we get started into the agenda. As most of you know that Commissioner Herman is with us tonight. At the last meeting, he wasn't able to be here because he was on business with the Cattlemen's Association. And Kent, we're glad to have you here and look forward to working with you and trying to make Alexander County a better place.
Thank you, Larry.
That's right. Welcome aboard. Hang on. Yeah.
Public comment, Madam Clerk, I don't believe we had anybody sign up tonight. Thank you very much. Item number 2 on the agenda is public hearing rezoning case R-21-3, Daniel Poland Jr. At this time, I'd call on Dustin Millsaps, Community and Regional Planner.
Good evening, everybody. I'm your new planner. Nice to meet you. So today what we're gonna go over is a application I had from Daniel Poland Jr. He is, currently, it doesn't have an address. I got the PIN number on here. It's an acre. It's currently zoned R20. Mr. Poland wants to rezone to RA20. The surrounding zoning is, it does have some R20 right next to it on the road, but all up and down Lale Drive, once you pull off of Sam Hefner, is pretty much RA20. So, it's more consistent. There are some R20s right there beside it. This wouldn't be a case of spot zoning though, because you're contingent across the street, with, RA20. So, basically real short and sweet. Staff does recommend that this rezoning happen, along with the planning board. Yeah.
Open up the public.
I'm going to, yeah. Yeah, I was sitting here and that's why I went. Okay, at this time, I'd like to make a motion that we call the public hearing into session at this time.
Make a
Entertain a
motion.
motion second.
Okay, make a second motion.
Motion is made and second. All those, any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, motion carries. Excuse me, sir, I just failed to do that, my bust.
Oh, no, it's okay. Do I need to?
No, sir, you're fine.
Okay.
Just continue on.
That's all I've really
Okay.
had, just from R20 to RA20.
Right. Okay. Does any commissioners have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I've had a couple phone calls about this issue, well, not issue, but this rezoning case. And personally, I looked into it, which doesn't mean much because as one member of the board, I have no authority. But from my research, the rezoning makes complete sense. And I would agree with the zoning board as well as the zoning administration in approving it.
Did you have any letters of written to you or any objections, phone calls? No? All right, very good. All right. Now, as this is a public hearing, anyone in the audience that has anything like to say, this is your opportunity to speak up or to ask questions. There being none, any other commissioners have any questions?
I could tell you some neat history about Lell Lane, but no.
Okay.
You that.
Well, at this time, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Motion is made and second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, I entertain the motion at this time.
Make a motion to approve zoning request. I had it here. Case number R21-3, Daniel Pullen Jr. Recommend we approve.
Second.
Motion's made and second. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Item number 2 on the agenda is public hearing, public nuisance hearings. Bill Rogers, Chief Building Inspector, Cody Bowers, Code Enforcement Officer. There are 3 cases on here. We're going to take each case individual. As you know, that based on these type of hearings, anyone that's going to testify or to talk about this issue or has evidence that they'd like to present or to ask questions needs to be sworn in. And at this time, Madam Clerk, if you would, those including the commissioners, need to be sworn in at this time. Is there anyone here that's going to speak in reference to 909 Jenkins Moose Road? If you would, ma'am.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
I do. I do. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Welcome.
So as stated, our first case is 999 Jenkins Moose Road. The case is a repeat offender from 2019. Josh Mitchell had passed it along to me this year, this summer. He had made contact first in March, left a ticket and sent him a certified letter that was not accepted. I received the case in August where I sent a certified letter. It was accepted, and I talked to the property owner who said it's a resident that is related to her that lives there and that they were going to work on cleaning it up. They worked on the front of the house a little bit, but as of today, I went by, and it looks like they may have just moved the trash to the side of the house. So it's still not abated. I sent out 2 separate hearing notices. They were both accepted, and I haven't had any more correspondence with the property owner since. So it's in the inspection's opinion to order abatement.
So the only thing they've done so far is just clean a little bit up in the front?
Yes, it looks like they moved the trash to the side of the house. As of today, I went by there. I tried to go by all these places today just to make sure, because we would have had 4, but one place cleaned up as of last week, so we took it off.
Well, that's good.
That's good. That's what we want.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are the property owners here tonight?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Do we have any other questions or concerns? In looking at this, and I guess what my question would be to you guys, and I understand, first of all, number one, I appreciate the job you're doing. I understand that. Your job's tough, it's hard, and you have to deal with some people that have different attitudes sometimes. It's an opportunity, I call it, not a challenge, it's just an opportunity each day. So in looking at this, if we vote to abate the property, we're cleaning up, and today being October the 11th, okay, and we say as of November the 11th, it goes into effect, and it gives those folks 30 days to do something, because what we want more than anything else is to get this property cleaned up and presentable instead of looking bad, okay? And I use that as nicely as I can, because I know some of these places you go to, they look terrible, okay? So my question to you all is, or my statement is that if we go and we pass this and we say it goes into effect as of November the 11th, which will be 30 days from the day, and that at that time, if it's not cleaned up, then this goes into effect and we proceed with what you all need to do in order to make sure the property's cleaned up.
So they would have from today to, or November 11th.
So
to
November
clean up?
11th, after everything y'all done, we'll give them that 30 days, and we'll be as nice as we can about it. But at the same time, if it's not done on November the 11th, or let's say, by November the 11th, it's done, it's over, bang, done.
I think that would be smart, because we have to arrange a contractor for
Right.
these. So that would give us 30 days to establish a contractor
Right.
to come in and do it.
Okay, because that's what I was thinking, that you had 30 days in there, and thank you, Bill, for bringing that out. And it should have, but thank you very much for that information, because that gets everything done the way it needs to be done. Okay, all right. Is there any other questions that you'd like to ask, gentlemen? If not, now, Madam Clerk, it's my understanding that we can vote on each issue even if we're still in the public hearing, is that correct? Okay, just want to make sure that we do it the way it's supposed to.
Open each one and close each
Right,
one,
I
and
understand.
then vote.
Okay, all right, good deal, just to make sure. All right. So what we'll do, I'll entertain a motion, what we do is, we'll close each hearing, and then we'll vote on, what we're going to do. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
You hadn't opened it.
I didn't open it? Well, that was real smart of me. I'd entertain a motion, that's twice I had this thing on my mind, what I wanted to do. But entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion to open public hearing on 999 Jenkins Moose Road property.
Second.
The motion's made and seconded. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Okay. And we do not need to present, everything's fine the way it is, or we need to go back and redo it?
No, it's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Just gonna ask
That's
if
my
anybody-
bust. I had it on my mind, some of the questions I had in my mind, and I apologize for that.
ask if anybody wants to-
Is there anybody in the public audience that would like to say anything or speak about this matter? Bill, do you guys have anything else about this that you'd like to say? Mr. Brown? Okay. All right. Well, this time, gentlemen, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing in regards to 999 Jenkins Moose Road.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Second.
Motion's made and second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to end this matter.
So we're gonna, 30 days is what.
I think, we can do it for 30 days. That gives them time to do everything they need to do legally, so that at the end of 30 days, they'll be able to go ahead and proceed without doing anything else, because they already have the authority to do it.
Okay, I make a motion to approve further action delayed until November the 11th on 999 Jenkins Moose Road. Is that sufficient?
That's what we wanted, absolutely. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's made and second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Item number 2 on item 3 is 315 South Center Street. And Mr. Bill Rogers, Chief Building Inspector, and Mr. Cody Bowers, Code Enforcement Officers. Gentlemen, I'd entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to open the public hearing pertaining to 315 South Center Street, Taylorsville, North Carolina.
Technically, each one.
You probably should do
Yeah,
it.
technically each
Just-
one, absolutely. So we need to be sworn in at each one, because technically
Yeah,
it's
it's different
closed and
cases.
reopened, so we have to make
Yeah.
sure that we get everybody sworn in on the second one. So at this time, if you'd raise your right hand.
I redact my motion at this point.
What-
I redact my motion to open public comment.
We can
or
open
public
it still.
So we can be sworn in.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
I do.
So 315 South Center Street is another repeat offender. I got an email and a call from the town manager, David Odom, about this property. Apparently, he had been getting quite a few calls about it, so me and Bill both went out there in June to check it out and took a bunch of pictures, and it's bad again. Apparently, the first time abatement had been ordered and they didn't do anything, so the town stepped in and cleaned it up for them. So, take with that what you will. They actually called me after the first correspondence and left me a voicemail, and I called them back probably about 5 or 6 times, left voicemails, never heard anything else from him. So I sent a second letter, certified mail, in July. In July, it was not accepted. After that time period had went by, I sent out the hearing notice, and it also was not accepted. I've had no further communication with the property owner. It's pretty bad. It's a little bit worse than the last one. Tall grass, trash everywhere, and actually the trash is starting to destroy. You can maybe see a little bit in that picture, the neighbor's fence line. So it's in the inspections department to recommend abatement on this one as well.
And they've cleaned this up one time where the town cleaned it up and then it's gotten back to where it is that not correct?
County Commissioners actually ordered abatement on this previously. It was abated, and it's worse now than it ever was.
So the photos, are they pretty current, these that we're looking at?
Yes, as of today, it looks just as bad, if not worse.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, one question, with this being in the town limits, this is just an observation, with this being in the town limits, is this not a town of Taylorsville issue? I mean, I'm just asking for
Well, no,
public
it not,
information.
it isn't, and one of the reasons that it would not be is that, because the town contracts with our code enforcement division.
Okay.
Then therefore, it would be up to us to make the final ruling on it based on what I've been told. So, we would make the final decision on it simply because of the contract basis that the town has with the county.
Well, I just wanted to
Right.
clarify for me as well as for everyone else.
Yes, that's the way that I understand it, and I can stand to be corrected, but.
That's right, Larry.
That's
Okay.
the way it is. Oh,
Right.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Is anyone here with this property on South Center Street? No one's here? So, this time, gentlemen, any further questions?
Kind of tagging on to what Commissioner Lell said, has the town recommended that they passed it completely to us then, too?
I think what happens, I think that the town manager, David Odom, actually contacted our folks and asked them to look into this for the cleaning bill.
We were contacted by Mr. Odom. We met with Mr. Odom in his office regarding it. We've been out to the site, and he's requested we go forward with abatement.
I have
Okay.
I have a question
Thank
for Bill. Is there any set of rules in place if a property has multiple abatements on it over a period of time, or what?
I'm not an attorney. You'd have to ask that to an attorney, but this is the worst I have ever seen. And we're probably gonna need the same time frame should you order it, because we're gonna have to arrange for law enforcement to be present.
So in your experience, you haven't had multiple abatements on one property?
No, because most of the jurisdictions, when they abate them, they tear them down. I have not been in the home. I've been told the inside of the home is worse than the outside of the home. I can't say for sure, but that's what we have been told, that the inside of the home is worse than the outside, and people are living there.
Just one quick question, Bill. Is it a single family, or is there multiple?
It's an adult couple. I'm not sure the husband's status he wasn't there for a while. I believe he was in the hospital or something. But there's some other underlying factors. And the last time it was abated, there were arrests made.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, any questions? Not entertaining a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close public hearing on 315 South Center Street.
Motion's made, is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and second, any discussion? There being none, all those in favor of closing the public hearing indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Gentlemen, I'd entertain a motion at this time.
Make a motion that we continue with abatement at 315 South Center Street in Taylorsville with the 30-day period to obtain a contractor to clean up.
Okay. Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Item number 3 on, in this section of the public hearings, 415 Greenlee Circle. At this time, I entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion, we open public hearing on 415 Greenlee Circle.
Second.
Motion's made and second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise. Madam Clerk, if you'd swear each one of us in, please.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
I do. Gentlemen?
415 Greenlee has been a little bit more of a trickier one. Tracking down the property owner has been difficult. I've gotten with Guy Curley and Doug Fox in the tax office and gotten in their system, and I just can't seem to track the lady down that owns the property. I get calls on this one probably twice a month, really. I started the nuisance case in March, but because I couldn't find a property owner, I kind of drug it along. I started the process over again in June and sent the second certified letter in July. I've sent letters to at least 3 different addresses, probably about 6 or 7 different letters. Most of them being certified mail, none of them being signed for. So the lady has multiple addresses in the tax office and isn't seen to be at any of them. Bill and I declared the structure unsafe, in July. Since March, the property's deteriorated so much that before you could see the house, now you can't even tell that anything's back there anymore. That's what it looked like in July. At this point, it's like that. So it's in the inspections department to abate this property as well.
And you've not been able to make contact with her yet
No, sir.
in any way, shape, or form?
What area of the county is this? I'm kind of familiar with Greenlee.
It's off
It
Rink
is right
Dam.
off Rink Dam Road in Bethlehem, and I have had quite a few calls about this property. I know several people that live in the Greenlee subdivision. Several people that I go to church with, as well as several other people, gentlemen that used to work at my office. I know the property owner not well, but, hate to say this, but she was the librarian at Bethlehem Elementary School when I was there a long time ago. And there's a lot of concern in the the neighboring properties. Not only rodents and animals and the such, but safety of the neighborhood children and such as that. And I'm sorry about all the phone calls, but I've told them to call you when they,
If you,
because,
if you,
yeah.
if you
'Cause I
choose
said,
to-
hey, there's somebody that handles that stuff. Here's his number.
just letting the board know that if you choose to order abatement on this site, it's going to be expensive, because we're gonna have to bring a grading contractor in to clear the property before we can get to the house, because the trees have grown around the house, and they're basically crushing the house.
In August, I went by to see if I could even get back in there, and I wasn't gonna go in there, so.
Years. It's been vacant for years.
Is there anyone here that owns the property or that's involved in the property that would like to speak or has any questions or concerns reference same? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would say I've been told that the property's been vacant for years and years, not just, not 6 months or a year, but years and years. Which I just don't understand, but, but it's,
So gentlemen, on this one, 30 days enough time?
We're probably gonna need 45 for this one, because we're gonna have to,
Okay.
we're gonna have to really get a lot of stuff in order. We're gonna have to get Duke Energy out there, because we don't know
Where the power is.
what, there's still a meter on the building. The building is loaded with snakes and rodents, skunks, you name it, it's in it. So we're gonna have to get quite a few people involved in this one.
Very good, thank you.
is 45 days enough time?
60 probably be better, to be honest with you.
What about if we follow up at our next meeting and then extend from there?
I really wouldn't want to do that to the residents in the area, because it is really a blight. And it's a nice subdivision. It is really beginning to affect their lives.
All right. Okay.
Very good. Anything else? Well, at this time, then I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion, we close public hearing on Greenlee, 415 Greenlee Circle.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Gentlemen, entertain a motion at this time.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we proceed with the abatement, allowing the code enforcement 60 days to get things in line and proceed with the cleanup.
Motion's made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is the Red Ribbon Week Proclamation. And at this time, I'd like to call on young men Corporal Vince Sutherland. Excuse me, sir. I was about to say it wrong.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Young Marine Corporal Sutherland of the Mecklenburg Young Marines. Young Marines is a youth organization program of the Young Marine Corps League that promotes a healthy, drug-free lifestyle. The Young Marines also teach you teamwork, leadership, and discipline, and how to be a good citizen. Today, I want to talk to you about Red Ribbon Week. Every year, during the last week of October, the Drug Enforcement Agency celebrates Red Ribbon Week to honor Agent Camarina and bring awareness about the dangers of illegal drugs use and sale. This is done in honor of Special Agent Enrique Camarina, who is an 11-year-old veteran of the DEA assigned in Mexico, where he was on the trail of the country's biggest marijuana and cocaine traffickers in 1985. He was extremely close to unlocking the multi-billion-dollar drug pipeline on February 7th, 1985. He was killed by Mexican drug traffickers. His tragic death opened the eyes of many Americans to the dangers of drugs and the international scope of drug trafficking. Using illegal drugs is dangerous to your health, well-being, and those around you. Join me in being drug-free. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And I noticed here that you have the Red Ribbon Week proclamation. And do you live here in Alexander County?
Yes, sir.
All right. And how many young Marines do you have involved in your group?
Around 30, sir.
Around 30. Very good. Very good. And I'm going to take the opportunity here to read this proclamation, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. Red Ribbon Week proclamation. Whereas alcohol and drug abuse in this nation have reached epidemic stages, and whereas it is imperative that visible, unified prevention education of efforts by community members be launched to eliminate the demand for drugs, and whereas the National Red Ribbon Campaign offers citizens the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to drug-free lifestyles, no use of illegal drugs, or no illegal use of legal drugs. And whereas the National Red Ribbon Campaign will be celebrated in every community in America during Red Ribbon Week on October the 23rd through the 31st of 2021. And whereas businesses, government, parents, law enforcement, media, medical institutions, religious institutions, schools, senior citizens, service organizations, and youth will demonstrate their commitment to healthy, drug-free lifestyles by wearing and displaying red ribbons during this week-long campaign. And whereas Alexander County, North Carolina further commits its resources to ensure the success of the Red Ribbon Campaign. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Alexander County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims October the 23rd through the 31st, 2021 as Red Ribbon Week, and encourages its citizens to participate in drug prevention education activities, not only during Red Ribbon Week, but all year long, making a visible statement that we're strongly committed to a drug-free Alexander County. This the 11th day of October, 2021. And gentlemen, I make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion's made and second. Is there any discussion or anything you'd like to ask this young man?
Mr. Chairman, sir, and I will call you sir. I just want to say, as a father, I am very proud. Even though you're not my son, I'm very proud of what you're doing.
Thanks,
And
sir.
and your parents should be very proud of what you're doing. And we appreciate it very much.
Thank you, sir.
One question, the 30 young Marines you mentioned, are they from this county as well or surrounding counties?
They're from the surrounding counties. We all meet in Mecklenburg County.
Mecklenburg?
Sure.
How many times a month do you meet?
Around 2 times we meet every other Saturday.
And you live in this county?
Yes, sir.
So your mom or dad takes you down there twice a month?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Thanks also for what you're standing for, and we need more young people involved in these things. That's how we can put a prevention on this and, get them to realize there is a better way, the way that you have. Thank you for coming tonight.
All those in favor of the motion indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise. The motion carries, young man. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Item number 5 on the agenda, Alexander County Broadband PowerPoint presentation. Mike Tank, Director of Government Affairs, Charter Spectrum.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's my pleasure to be here, and I look forward to working with you and your county further to expand broadband throughout the county. I am here today to give you a little bit of a background on some of the work that we are doing with regards to an RDOF program and also with regards to, an NTIA application we made in conjunction with the county. Earlier this evening, I put a packet of information in front of you. Also, we'll have the PowerPoint up on the slide screen. But in here is some background information about our company, Charter Communications, also known as Spectrum, and just background information for you to know about. So as we move forward, if we move to the next slide. I first wanted to talk to you a little bit about the RDOF program, or also the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund. What this program was, it's created by the FCC and was announced last year and through the summer and fall of 2020, and then there's applications due late 2020, and then they were announced in February of 2021. The program was designed to address bringing broadband to the rural areas of the country. To be eligible for these areas, it is broken down into census blocks, and according to the FCC definition of 25 megabits downstream and 3 megabits upstream is what they considered having been broadband. And the census block to be eligible had to have 0 people in that census block with that level of broadband service. So for example, if there was 100 people in that census block and 2 of the people did have that level of service, that census block was ineligible. So those 98 people were not eligible to participate or would not work for those folks. So the way it was done is through a reverse auction. And the way the reverse auction went is a provider such as Charter or any other provider out there could make a bid with the FCC to say, we want to build that area, but we know that the economics to do it on our own aren't sufficient, so we need some help from the federal government to do it. So the way the reverse auction went was we would bid an amount and say, let's pretend again it costs $100 to build that census block. We would bid and say, okay, we can do it for $50, but we need the federal government to kick in another $50. Somebody else might bid and say, oh, well, we can do it for $40, but we need the federal government to kick in $60. Charter would win in that case because we're asking for the least amount of money from the federal government, and we're paying more of that ourselves. So that was the method in which the reverse auction went. And so we worked on this through what we called enhanced desktop analysis. And this is done looking at databases, primarily the FCC 477 reports, and I'm getting a little into the weeds here, but that's a methodology in which programmers provide information to the federal government to say, here's where we provide service and here's the level of service we provide. So based upon that, we as Charter won a lot of grants. And if we could flip to the next slide, please. In North Carolina, this is a map of what we won. In North Carolina, we won over 125,000 locations. And the location is an FCC term. What that location really means is it could be a house, it could be a business, it could be a church, it could be a anchor institution or anything along that lines. Basically a structure. So nationally, Charter won over 1 million of these, but in North Carolina, we won 125,000 locations. And if you look at this map, you can see in the dark blue area is our existing footprint. And the aqua green is the area in which we won RDOF awards. So you can see it is, we were very aggressive in going after that. We want to look and provide service to rural areas. And through the RDOF program, we won quite a few. As we extend our service, our intent and plan is to build all this out with fiber to the home technology. So it's not going to be an over-the-air, it's going to be a hardline connect to each of these new locations we're building to. And it's going to be fiber to the home. The service that we're going to be offering is our standard service, and it's going to be exactly what we offer across the rest of the state, whether you're in Asheville or Charlotte or Raleigh or any place else. The standards level of service is going to be 200 megabits per second. There'll be optional services all the way up to a gig service. We'll be offering our residential phone services, all the video products we offer, everything that we do, everything else that we offer. In addition to that, we do have a low-cost offering called Spectrum Internet Assist. In the packet I gave you, there is a sheet that talks about it in the back last page on the left-hand side, and that'll tell you a little more about that program. A family would have to qualify. The qualification basically is if they have a family member that gets free or reduced lunch, then they are eligible for that, or a senior on SSI. And it would be $17.95 a month, and for a 35 megabit service. Now, that's going to be plenty to do whatever they need for school, for work, for all that. It may not be the best in the world for streaming and gaming, but it will certainly provide that service that's necessary to be active and be an active member in our society in using broadband. So as we move to the next slide, the green areas here are the areas in which we won our RDOF areas. So these are the areas in Alexander County that we are going to be building out. And this is where the 2,032 addresses that we were awarded in Alexander County are located. Are there any questions about this at this point in time? About RDOF, about what we're doing, our plans? I'm sure one of the questions that always comes up to me is, what's the timeline? When are you going to be able to do this? Well, the RDOF program was put together on a 6-year program. And as you can tell, that we won a lot, not only here in Alexander County and across the state, but across the entire country. It's a big endeavor for our company. We are investing over $5 billion in doing this. We have hired a new We put together a new department called our RDOF team. We're hiring over 2,000 employees and contractors to do this. They're going to be broken down into certain areas. The one that's going to be covering this area is going to be located down in Charlotte. That's where I am located as well. The folks that are going to be on that team have been doing construction for a long time. I know them. I've worked with them for years. So it's a good thing that we don't have a learning curve to get up and going. They have the relationships with the power companies, with Dukes. They understand how to build the rights of ways, to utilize the rights of ways for the construction. So they are already hitting the ground running. Exactly when Alexander falls within that 6-year window, I can't tell you. At this point in time, we just really don't know completely. There are certain benchmarks that we have to hit, so periodically along the way. So at the end of year 3, we have to have 40% complete, and then 20% each additional year till completion. So we are moving down that path. We have committed to doing this to the FCC. We are building it with fiber to the home and broadband service of a standard level of 200 megabits per second, but with multiple options, faster or slower, depending upon what the residents would desire. Next slide, please. In here, I'm providing you a bunch of web links about this so you could investigate this as much as you like. The first 2 locations are the FCC main website, and they'll tell you, dig into it as much as you want to learn about the RDOF program. Then the bottom 2 under general RDOF section, the FCC map and the CNS map. At those locations, you can go in and it will tell you, very similar to that one map I showed with the green areas, but you can actually put in a specific address. So you could put in at 123 East Rutherford Road or wherever that might be, and it would zoom in and tell you whether that's in that area or not. So if there's some folks that are unserved right now and they're wondering if they're in this area or not, they can go to those addresses and plug in their address, and it'll tell them for sure whether they are not in that area or not. Then moving down to the next sections, in the packet I had given you a press release. There's a link to get to that press release and a blog article. But that bottom one is kind of an interesting one. So let's say somebody goes into it and says and finds out that they are in that RDOF area. Well, by going to this website, they would also confirm that. But by going there, they can put in their email address, and then we will contact them and give them updates. And so that would be the link for them to work with the company to get information to find out where we are in the program. So as we look at that, we do know that there are other areas that are not included in the RDOF area that is not serviceable. If you recall, when I talked about originally, we talked about that the eligibility were for census blocks that were 100% non-served. Well, there are other census blocks out there that were partially served, and there's areas out there that we know do not have broadband service at this point in time. So we are looking for other ways to get out there. Again, the economics for it to do it on its own just aren't there because of the rural areas, of the lack of density out there, but the need is there. So we are looking for ways to find other programs out there. There is another one that was made available, the National Telecommunications Infrastructure Administration, NTIA. They came out with a program earlier this year. They put together $288 million across the country, and they were targeting counties with a population of less than 50,000. Alexander fell into that county. And so what we did as charter, we looked at some of the areas where it could make some sense for us to build upon areas that would be in conjunction with the RDOF areas so that we could leverage those areas that we were already doing to build upon, to go out and expand upon it. So we worked with the county, with your team, and we found a certain amount of 488 new locations that we wanted to go and apply for to the government for. So we asked for no financial commitment from the county. This is something that we as charter are doing, plus seeking funds from the federal government. So the areas that we were looking to find these 488 locations are on the next slide. The green areas, again, are the RDOF areas that we won, but these areas that are put together inside these yellow boxes, these are where those 488 other locations are. Now, there's a little bit of overlap with some of the squares and the RDOF areas, but look at the areas not in RDOF. That's where those 488 locations are. So we are hopeful that we are going to be a successful bidder in this. We should hear in November if we are successful or not. We think we put together a pretty strong application. Your team here at the county was very helpful, and again, I think we put together a strong bid to go after it. In the event that we are unsuccessful, $288 million sounds like a lot of money, but when you're looking at it across the country, I don't know how many applications there were, but there's the possibility we may not win. Well, we gathered a lot of good information. We put together a good partnership, and so we are looking for the next opportunity to either do something further if we are successful, or if we are not, then there's other ways to move forward. So what we could do is, there's programs, and I'm going to start from the bottom and go up on this one. We know that the county has gotten some ARPA funds. We are working with other counties across the state that have put in some of their own ARPA funds to help offset some of the broadband costs. There are county projects, the county could put in just some of their revenue project, or some of their own general fund money to go for some of these projects. But really, the most realistic one is the top one. The North Carolina Great Grant Program. It's been around for a few years at this point in time. Right now, it's part of the state's budget program, and Greg and I were talking about the budget program earlier, that where we understand it is at this point in time is that the Senate has approved it, the House has approved it, it's gone to conference committee. We believe that the governor is sitting with them, and they're discussing it through conference committee, so that hopefully we will get an approved budget this year coming out where everybody has agreed upon. Part of that budget is the Great Grant. What we are hearing is in the neighborhood of $700 million to be used for broadband expansion in one way or another. So we are looking and gearing up to work with the county as a partner again to reach out to get some of that Great Grant funding. So we might be able to go beyond the 488. We are looking to see and identify these other areas, and I know that I've been working with Greg and your team on this, and we're probably going to be looking to see where else we can go to get this. But our main goal at this point in time is to bring broadband to all the unserved areas of the county, be it through RDOF, through an NTIA, through a great grant. We're looking to find ways to get broadband out there. So that's really my presentation for this evening, but I'm wide open for questions that you folks might have.
I noticed I had someone from Spectrum. There's a young gentleman that's been going around checking on your internet service there. He was driving a Spectrum vehicle.
Okay?
Was this part of this, trying to gain information from local residents?
If he is contacting local residents, I don't believe that's necessarily part of this plan.
Okay.
Because we have really been doing this far more on looking at databases and doing the bids that way through that enhanced desktop service. Once we get the awards and doing some of the RDOF work, we will have to do what we call walkout. And what that means is, since we did a desktop analysis, to go out and do the build, we are actually gonna have to physically go out and look at every telephone pole out there to make sure that we have proper rights-of-ways, make sure we have clearance. Because when you start building and contacting these poles, you have to have so much space between the power and anybody else that's on that. It's called National Electrical Safety Code, to have proper clearance. And if there's not existing clearance, we have to work with the owner of the pole company, be it Duke Power, be it Rural Electric, or whoever it might be the owner, to create that space. Now, that may mean just moving rearranging some lines. It may mean setting new poles. It may mean that it's not a feasible option, we have to go underground. But that's part of what we call our walkout or make-ready work. You may hear that term, because there are some bills being discussed about that in the State House as well. But we will be doing that. I don't believe that process has started here in Alexander, to the best of my knowledge. But if and when we are doing that, yes, they will be in vehicles that are labeled. Normally, it's a contractor doing it, so they most likely have a magnetic sign that says contractor for Spectrum or Charter Communications. But they would certainly be identifying, but they would not necessarily be going up to contacting the customers. And would certainly not be in the area that we provide service already.
So when you're sitting there and you're talking about the rural areas and the amount of time, I know that, your revenue comes from densely populated areas, I understand that. But based on the way that this money's been given out there for rural communities, are you gonna start in most of these rural communities, will they get first priority, or are you still going to go densely to less populated?
Keep in mind that everything that we won in RDOF area is rural, because to be in a census block that had no broadband, by definition, that is rural, and that's where we have to go. We are not getting any RDOF funding for anything where it was existing broadband. So yes, we are going to be building from our existing footprint and moving out to expand from there and use that as the base from where we're going. But through this program, we are not getting any funds to build. So the short answer to you is yes, the RDOF area is where we're going first. One point I didn't make that I should make is that we know that if we are successful with NTIA grants, we know that the timeline for build out is a shorter timeline. I believe it's 2 years? 2 years? And if we are successful, whichever the tighter timeline that we are required to do, we would comply with. So what that would do is mean that the RDOF areas would become in a 2-year time window instead of that 6-year time window. Because when we go out and build, we want to build the whole thing. We don't want to come out and do a little bit here and a little bit there and then come back in 4 years to do it. So, and the same with the great grant. If we go out and apply and we win some great grant, whatever that timeline is, we would be compliant with that. So that could potentially move that timeline up.
Mr. Chairman, what's the minimum height they've got to be on this?
Height above the road?
Yeah, or above
Clearance?
the land?
The best of my recollection, and this is, I've been in cable for quite a while, I believe it's 18 foot is the clearance over either a street, and maybe a little lower in mid-span between pole to pole. on the side of the road, maybe where a farm field is. I think it may be more like 16 foot, but I believe 18 foot is what the proper clearance is supposed to be, to the best of my knowledge.
The reason I asked, I've done pulled 2 of those things down in this county across farmland, so.
If it's on the side of the road, yeah, in mid-span slack, yeah, I can understand that. And if there are certain spots like that where you do have a lot of traffic and it's a low-hanging thing, you can give us a call, and if there's room, we'll snug it up for you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Well, you folks in that packet also have my card. Like I said, I'm down in Charlotte. I'm not that far away, so if you have any questions or something comes up, you can certainly get in touch with Mr. French. He knows how to get hold of me, and we've talked before. I work with Greg and Mr. Moose, so feel free to reach out to any of those folks, and we look forward to working with you as we move forward, as we do a lot of this construction. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks. Item number 6 on the agenda, Alexander County Broadband Expansion Project Update. Mr. Nick Stewart, Open Broadband, and David Moose, Compliance and Procurement Specialist.
We've asked the doctor the mic just a little bit. Maybe. Good evening. Wanted to bring just a brief update to you for the other broadband expansion project that's going on in the county. As you may recall, this is a public-private partnership in the form of a grant between Alexander County and Open Broadband LLC that was begun some time ago. Just a little update on our progress so far. Coverage in the northeastern section of the county was recently expanded last month through the installation of a new hub located on Sulphur Springs Road. To date, broadband internet service has been provided by Open Broadband to 190 locations. 55 of those are customers at 50 megabits per second or above, and 116 of those 190 are customers who were listed as underserved. Our main focus tonight is on our Phase 2. As you may recall, this project was broken into 2 phases. Phase 1 covered Ellendale and the northwestern portion of the county, and Phase 2 is the eastern and northeastern part of the county. Phase 2 has been determined to include 1 tower location that has been identified and confirmed as usable to serve the eastern portion of the county, and another tower location that has been identified to serve the northeastern portion of the county. Currently, there's some lease negotiations going on between Open Broadband and the tower owner, and if those were to fall through, then Open Broadband is proposing to use a multi-hub approach to work to expand coverage off of another tower for that section of the county. This slide here shows a map of the new hub that was installed on Sulphur Springs Road. The green areas are areas that are likely serviceable from that hub location, and then the yellow areas show an expanded, possibly serviceable area from that hub. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nick Stewart with Open Broadband. The project timeline changes that were included in your packet, we've actually got some updated figures on that came in after the packet information was submitted, so I'll let Nick take over.
Evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Good to see you again. Yeah, just wanted to give you a brief update for the equipment that we're going to be deploying for Phase 1 hitting the western portion of the county. We actually have 3 tower climbs scheduled for November 6th. We'll be climbing simultaneously Lenny's Mountain, Moore Mountain, and Ellendale to put together the relaying equipment and the customer distribution equipment on those 3 locations at the same time. Once we get that equipment installed, we will continue to install a few predetermined hub locations that we have, and we should have those done around the 19th of November. And then we're going to be continuing testing from the 8th to the 19th and get customers connected off of those vertical assets around the 30th. We actually have a list of about 30 customers since I've been here in April who have reached out to us wanting service. And when we sent out our site survey technician, they were able to identify that those homes would be directly serviceable from those vertical assets. So once we get the equipment on, we'll continue to work through that list and the list of other residents who have already signed up on our website over the time that we've been operating in the county.
So,
Sir,
I have a question.
sir.
On the northeastern side of the county, have we taken a look at Lackey Mountain?
I will make a note of that. I'm still familiarizing myself with the names of the mountains in the area, so I'll have to do
Or oversized hills. Yeah.
Lackey Mountain, sir.
It's my understanding that if one could be put up there, there's some landowners that would oblige.
Copy that. Before you see me the next time I brief you, I'll have an answer to that question,
Thank you.
sir.
very good.
Any other questions?
Sounds good. Keep working.
Thank you.
Just keep it going.
We're excited to round out our 200th install, should be by the end of this month. Even this week, we have 4 installs scheduled for Friday and 6 more scheduled for next week, so we're very excited about the progress that we've made.
Thank you.
And we'll just wrap up with the last slide here is our updated coverage map as of September. This shows the general footprint that Open Broadband currently has as far as service provision in Alexander County. Again, the green areas are likely serviceable, and you'll note the different symbology there for hubs or tower locations. The yellow areas are possibly serviceable. So if no other questions, that's all we have.
Very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Item number 7, Alexander County Light Rescue contract with Midnight Volunteer Fire Department. Mr. Mark Earl, Fire Marshal, and Assistant Emergency Management Coordinator.
I will be brief, ladies and gentlemen, because I've been threatened already. Appreciate being here, Commissioners, Chairman. Come to you tonight to request on behalf of Midnight Fire Department to be light rescue certified through the North Carolina Rescue Association and EMS. The department recently completed the land search class offered through North Carolina Emergency Management and has submitted application to the North Carolina EM to be placed on a state call list to be deployed anywhere within the state as a search team. They have also recently completed the agricultural and machinery rescue class. One of the requirements to become certified through the association is a signed contract approved by the Board of Commissioners. I would like to recommend Midnight Fire Department for your approval, as it will reduce response times for these types of rescues and better serve our citizens in Midnight Fire District. They will also have the opportunity to be eligible for the rescue grant that mirrors the fire grant through North Carolina Office of State Fire Marshal. They have met all their requirements, and they've been through their inspections for proper equipment and proper personnel by the Rescue Association, and this will also continue our consistency with any fire departments that want to perform special rescue services. I'll be happy to answer any questions or concerns that you may have.
Does anyone have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I'll just say, I think it's always a good thing when we have, you know, our local volunteer fire departments that want to provide additional services, and are willing to go through training and willing to go through certifications, to be able to provide those additional services. So I think it's a great thing.
I I'm right proud of them because I appreciate what they do.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, how many of our fire departments are certified?
In light rescue,
Yes,
We
sir.
have two right now that's Light Rescue certified, Bethlehem and, Stony Point.
Stone Point, yeah. That's only two.
And they're like light, medium, heavy? Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Be light, medium, and heavy.
Do we have any medium or heavies?
The rescue squad's the only one that's heavy, no mediums.
So with adding this one, we'd have three, correct? We'd
Yes.
have Bethlehem,
Be
Stony
three.
Point, and then Hidden
Hidden
Eye,
Eye.
filling in the gaps in between.
And possibly two more sometime in the future.
Okay.
They've not really given me a date yet. They're leaning that way.
Leaning that way. It's
Yeah,
very
they're
good.
leaning that way.
That's great.
Good.
Well, that's good. I appreciate everything that you do and what they're doing for our county, and, you know, citizens don't realize fire departments, the better they are, the cheaper your insurance is, so.
Exactly.
At ISO. I appreciate that.
Entertain a motion at this time?
Make a motion to approve Alexander County Light Rescue contract with Hidden Eye Volunteer Fire Department.
Second.
Motion's made, second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, motion carries. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Item number 8, COVID update. Alexander County Health and Human Service Director, Ms. Leanne Wisner.
I am relieved to be able to bring you good news tonight. Our case numbers are continuing to decline. We are down to 74 cases in the last 7 days, which if you remember, that is substantially down. Our average cases are down to 7 daily. And to just give you some parameters, back September the 9th through October the 8th, we were at 23 cases per day. So a huge improvement. We have 9 currently hospitalized. Our positivity rate is down to 8.6%. We're still just a little higher than the state, but we have come way down from 15 at one point. We have 42% of our eligible community citizens at least vaccinated with 1 dose, 39% fully vaccinated. And we have seen a good number coming in for their booster doses. We're doing that high-risk group plus that next group that's eligible for Pfizer boosters. Moderna is meeting the end of this week. Moderna's meeting. Sorry, too much work. The powers that be are meeting to discuss when Moderna and Johnson & Johnson boosters will happen, which is very confusing to the public. So we've tried to help people clarify that. Right now, the only group is those that had Pfizer vaccines to start with are eligible for boosters. Hopefully Moderna and the others will be soon. The end of October, those same groups are meeting to determine if Pfizer is going to be approved for that younger population from 5 to 12, because we're now doing 12 to 18-year-olds, and of course adults. So our numbers are doing much better. The school system numbers are doing great as well. I know the board is meeting tomorrow to discuss whether leaving masks on or off, but they have come. I didn't bring those numbers at the moment, but they are, the committee gave some recommendations or some guidance for that Board of Education, and I actually provided them with all those numbers as of today, and they are drastically down, like 0.01. So has certainly made a difference. So we hope that continues. I would encourage people to get their flu vaccines as well. Last year, flu was pretty much non-existent. I don't know if we were just so wrapped up in COVID work, but we didn't have a lot of cases, and we've had a few already this year. So we are doing, the health department is doing drive-through vaccination clinics for flu on Friday afternoons from 1 to 3. We're doing that so people don't have to get out of their vehicle. They don't have to feel like they're coming in a health department that may have seen germy people or, worried about catching something else. So it's drive-through, kind of the same way we're doing COVID testing. Our testing numbers continue to decline as well. So good news for a change.
Absolutely. Very good.
Can I
Going back to what you said on the 8% a moment ago, how many positive cases do we have in the county currently?
How many positive cases do we have currently?
Yeah, do you know that number?
Do you want like 74 cases? We've had 74 cases in the last 7 days. Does that help you?
Well, I've got that, but what was the 8%
The total,
referring
you
to?
want the total from the very beginning?
Well, no, what was you referring to on 8% earlier?
That's our percentage. That's our positivity rate.
Total?
Total positivity
Okay.
rate. Yes. We look at all kinds of data to see those trends.
Well, I know the 74 wouldn't get 8%.
No,
So I
right.
was wondering where the 8% came in
Positivity rates.
overall.
Yeah, and I have 14 days, but in lieu of time, if 7's going down, 14's going down. So we, hopefully that continues. At least, we continue to monitor those next mutations too. That's the next fear is, we hope it doesn't happen.
Let's hope not.
I know. But any other questions?
Good news.
Good news.
Thank you. I'll try to keep it coming.
Keep it coming. Thank you very much, Leanne. Item number 9, resolution regarding the Mitchell Gold gas line transfer to Dominion Energy. David Eisenhower, Executive Director, Alexander County Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As noted, this is a resolution, the title of which is a resolution authorizing sale of and assignment of rights for natural gas pipeline to Public Service Company of North Carolina Incorporated, doing business as Dominion Energy of North Carolina, grant an assignment of utility and construction easements and assignment of right-of-way encroachment. That is a long title for a resolution, which is essentially a very straightforward and simple resolution. I can summarize it for you. There are 5 whereas paragraphs in this resolution. They're all related to a 2015 economic development project which ran natural gas to Mitchell Gold Bob Williams. It was part of a grant from North Carolina Department of Commerce Utility Funds account. And as part of that grant, the original requirement of the grant was that Alexander County be the owner of all of the pipelines and all the appurtenances associated with it. And that is the only way we could receive that grant. The short part of this long story is that it's really not in the best interest of the county to own a natural gas pipeline. Along with ownership, you also own all the maintenance and repair issues should they arise. So it's in our best interest that we convey this gas line back to the gas company. When we entered into this agreement originally, that was part of the agreement, that at the end of 5 years or thereafter, the county would convey everything to the natural gas company, which at the time was PSNC, it's now Dominion Energy. But we would convey that back to them at the cost of $1, so basically free. In the meantime, of course, they have been providing natural gas service to Mitchell Gold Bob Williams plant as part of the grant. Also, Mitchell Gold did a expansion project, a little over $100,000 in physical expansion. They created 20 jobs as part of this project. If you approve this resolution, what you will be resolving is that you will reconfirm that you will sell this to Dominion Energy, which you actually did in 2014 when we did the original public hearing for the grant. You will also agree that you will transfer any of the utility and or access agreements and encroachments to the gas company. And you'll also authorize the county manager to execute any documentation, the sale of this gas line back to the gas company. I would recommend the board approve the resolution, but I would be more than happy to answer any questions you may have about it.
Gentlemen, any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I've made it clear before, I don't think government should be involved in anything that government doesn't have to be involved in. And if we can pass this on to private industry, as was the original plan, makes complete sense to me.
Well, this original plan is what we said then, so.
Yep.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, David. Well, at this time, I'd entertain a motion, gentlemen.
Make a motion that we approve the resolution authorizing the sale of an assignment of rights for natural gas pipeline to Public Service Company of North Carolina Incorporated, Dominion Energy of North Carolina, grant an assignment of utility and construction easements, and assignment of right-of-way encroachment.
Motion's made. Is there a second?
Second.
Any motion's made and second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Item number 10, resolution designating official to make recommendation to the North Carolina Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission for ABC permit applications in Alexander County. Mr. Rick French.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your packet is a resolution that designates the chief code enforcement officer or his designee with the recent departure of an employee in the planning department that was handling those duties. This resolution is necessary so that we can have someone sign off on ABC permits. So we need to adopt this resolution tonight.
Okay. Gentlemen, I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the resolution designating an official to make recommendations to the North Carolina Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission for ABC permit applications in Alexander County.
Motion's made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, and motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Item number 11, Courthouse Park Phase 2 improvements, award recommendations. Mr. Rick French, County Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your packet is a letter from McGill Engineering. They recommend that we award the Courthouse Park Phase 2 improvements to Lael Builders for the amount of $410,074. That is for construction of the splash pad and the picnic shelter. The funds have already been approved. This is just awarding the contract to Lael Builders for this work. I'll be glad to answer any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any idea when it's going to be finished?
No, sir.
Okay. All right.
Early next year.
Early?
Well,
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Sometime next year.
Gentlemen, I'd entertain a motion to approve the recommendation from the County Manager.
Make a motion to approve awarding the bid as stated.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make publicly known that I have nothing to do with Lael Builders Incorporated of Hickory. I don't even know who they are. That's the best way for me to say that, I think, because I think there has been some talk in the community about me being involved in the Courthouse Park project, and that is not correct information. Like I say again, I have absolutely nothing, and none of my family or close family has anything to do with Lael Builders Incorporated.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Gentlemen, we have before you now budget ordinance numbers 23 through 27. Mr. Rick French, County Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Budget amendment number 23 is to increase the health department budget for federal grant funds for the Bright Ideas program. Budget amendment number 24 is to decrease the health department budget for mutual termination of agreement, addendum activity 466, advancing equity program. Budget amendment number 25 is to increase the DSS budget for the supplemental links funding to make one-time supplemental payments to eligible young adults who are or were in foster care. Budget amendment number 26 is to increase the economic development budget for incentive payments to industry, and those are the same money that we do every year. It just wasn't in the budget. That just adds it in the budget. And number 27 is to increase the Parks and Recreation budget for the estimated cost of an agreement to pay the school system for the use of school facilities for recreation activities. Be glad to try to answer any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions concerning these amendments? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve budget amendments 23 through 27 as stated.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion at this time? If not, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Other business, county manager's report, Mr. Rick French.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Friends of the Library group is hosting a book sale on November 4th through the 6th from 9 to 5, and November 7th from 1 to 5 at 135 Commercial Park Drive across from the Applied Technology Center. That event's happening very soon. One thing I wanted to mention tonight, and Chad, if you could, as you've been seeing information, VIA is joining with a number of other counties. Currently, VIA has 22 counties. 9 additional counties will be joining VIA in the first of the year. And those counties are, let's see, get my notes, are Stokes, Alamance, Caswell, Chatham, Person, Franklin, Granville, Vance, and Rowan County. They're in blue on the map. And as the county alignments change, those will become part of VIA Health. And those are once part of Cardinal. When Cardinal basically split up, those 9 counties will be part of VIA in January. The way the governing board will change with that is that if you go to the next, they'll be broken into 4 regions. The orange counties is Region 4. Alexander will be in Region 3 with those counties. And then we have actually 2 other regions. You have a breakdown of those. If you'll go to the next slide, Chad. There are the counties in each region that make up the community boards. And so we'll be in Region 3. And at some point in time in the very near future, you will need to appoint 2 representatives to serve on that board. And I just wanted to give you a brief update on that situation. Is there any questions about any of that information in your packet?
Just like a lot of the larger counties are going with that one group. Looks a little strange.
Well,
I mean, I'm just talking
right.
about Mecklenburg, kind of around Fayetteville, Cumberland County,
right.
and all those large counties, and that's the large metropolitan areas. They all have gone into their own little group. Interesting things to happen.
It was not that long ago when there were far more LME MCOs
Yes.
than there are now.
And they're down to what now, 4,
5.
5? You can look for it, probably end up to be 3, no more than 4 before it's over with.
Could be just a couple per
They'll
cent.
keep attacking mental health before it's over with. Yes. Very good. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve a consent agenda as in our packets given.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Are any questions? If not, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll go into closed session under North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11, paragraph A, subsection 4, 5, and 6, economic development, contractual, and personnel. We will re-adjourn for the primary purpose of adjournment only. I'll make that in the form of the motion.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.